and send those out as self-study games for your students to go through. So that's one of the new tools that you can use. There is another free ed tech program out there called Socrative. And Socrative also has a free version and a pro version. And one of the cool tools in Socrative is they have a race game. So you can split the students into teams, give them a certain amount of time to go through a series of questions, and they're competing against each other. So that gives you the ability to put some gamification into your formative assessment. And Socrative gives you a very good real-time report of who is answering what. And those can both be accessed at their tool. I'll go ahead and put those in the chat for everyone. So it's Socrative.com and Kahoot.com to get a hold of those tools. Another tool that we have available that we discovered was not working this morning when I double checked it, but it should be up by the end of the day, if not on Monday, is Respondus actually has 3 products. You have the Respondus Lockdown Browser, which many of you probably don't like right now because I know it caused a lot of headaches the last couple of weeks. But you also have Respondus itself, which allows you to put in the quizzes. But there's a third product called Respondus StudyMate. And what StudyMate does is it gives you the ability to take those same question banks or alternate question banks that you build in Respondus and turn them into games. And there are 15 different games that are available to you. And like I said, we will have that back up in a block in eCourses Moodle, hopefully on Monday, and then I will work on getting it integrated into Canvas for those of you that have already moved over or will be moving over in the summer. Of course, we're all going to be there in the fall. So my favorite game in StudyMate is what they call Challenge, which is basically Jeopardy. And you can set it up to where one student or 2 students can play it, or you could set up both. So if a student doesn't want to work with a peer in an online class, they can run through the game on their own, and it will give you the ability to basically play a Jeopardy style game through questions. So that's another way of gamifying the formative assessment. You do, of course, have the quiz engines in both Moodle and Canvas that you can set practice quizzes up in that have very low stakes. And we have another product that is licensed called Soft Chalk. What Soft Chalk allows you to do is you can build interactive lessons that have questions built in after a reading assignment. There are other tools as well. You can have drag and drop, multi-select. There's a whole host of features available in Soft Chalk, and it's pretty easy to use. In order to access Soft Chalk, if you're interested, you can go ahead and email me, and I'm putting my email in the link afterwards, and I'll get you set up with access to that tool. But it's a great tool to be able to build interactivity, and it gives you the ability to see what people are doing. And everything that I've talked about so far can be done asynchronously, or it can be done synchronously. So this gives you those formative assessment tools to see how the students are doing as they're moving through the course. Now, we also have access to 2 video assessment tools. One of them we have a temporary subscription to called Ed Puzzle. And for those of you that are on Canvas, we have Canvas Studio. And what Canvas Studio allows you to do is it can allow you to either take a YouTube or Vimeo movie and add questions to it, multiple choice or true false, and they can answer those questions off of the video, and they'll go directly to the gradebook. You can also assign Canvas Studio to a student to create or add questions to a YouTube video, or you can create your own videos from scratch. So it's a very, very powerful tool that's built into Canvas that you were able to use. And for those of you that are in the ITO, we do have a section, or will be, there is a section in the ITO from cohort 2 forward that's optional that will explain that to you. And those that were in cohort 1 will get that in there for you so you can see it. So If you are doing a synchronous session, another option is Zoom polling. And if you are the host, you will see a polling button at the bottom. You can set up questions that you can ask in the Zoom session and see the answers in real time. So that's another option that you have on the formative side. On the summative side, this is the first thing that I tell people when they come to ask me. Assume they're going to cheat. Just build that into the assignment. The Respondus lockdown browser is not as effective as you may suspect. And the reason that I say that is that the research shows us that approximately 98% of college students, now, admittedly, this is not broken down to Prairie View or HBCUs, so we may have a little bit of a difference, are have cell phones that are smart. The lockdown browser does not work on cell phones. So if they're using the lockdown browser, they most likely will have both the cell phone and another device that's internet capable. So the only thing the lockdown browser is doing for you is making it harder for them to copy and paste and search things on the internet. So the way that you can get around that is you can set your quizzes up so that they are more randomized and you tighten your time frames. My recommendation, based on experience and research for non computational short stem questions, is no more than 1 minute per question. Now, if you're having them go through reading passages or they're doing computations, you're going to have to adjust that. Always set your questions to randomize, also set your answers to randomize. Use a large test bank if possible, and if at all possible, do not use a commercial publisher's test bank. All of those are almost certainly out there on Quizlet or a similar service, but your questions will not likely be there. Another trick that I use is write scenario style questions if it can apply to your discipline. Usually, I will assign my students to watch a movie or read a book or watch a short video, and I will have them relate their questions to the events in that video. Short answer is harder for people to cheat on if you have the time to do it, but consider alternatives to quizzes as well. You can do group projects. This is another great tool we will have in Canvas, is that when you create a group, it sets up a mini course area that will stamp who does what. So you can track who's working on a group if you have different items. Consider creative alternatives like infographics. Dr. Baez talked about explanation skits. I've been following a group called, uh, excuse me, I've been following a group called Pedagogy Pandemic, where people have been talking about how effective those have been, where they basically set up sessions during finals for 10 to 15 minutes per student, which can be a lot, agreed, but the student has to use the Zoom whiteboard to explain things. Consider giving them posters to do. You also can do video-based final exams where you provide them with a problem they have to explain. And that's just an overview of the tools that are available to us for online assessment. There is really quite a lot of other things that we could talk about, but that's what I'm going to provide today so they can move on to the next panelist.
Thank you so much. I think we have received an overview of assessment and evaluation. We um, had some indication of what happened actually in one faculty person's class. And then you just got a host of applications that you're able to use depending on your discipline and what you're looking for. If there are questions, we have about 3 minutes. Uh, but if you want to just, if you didn't put anything in the chat, but you have a question for either of the three panelists, feel free to unmute and ask that now. Dr. Thomas Smith, I can't believe you don't have a question.
I knew you were going to get me. Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad I saw this. I was able to hear everything. It's amazing. It looks like, I mean, I knew we were moving to Canvas, but it looks like the potential for opportunities are really be great. We're going to really be great with that tool alone. It's amazing. I guess any comment I would have to do with just assessment in general and how important it is to really look at what it is you expect students to be able to do, going back to the taxonomy. Because I think everything has to do with, it's all about causing learning. And no, and as I think I heard Dr. Collins says he said it's important to tell students up front what is expected. And so you tell them what's expected. Are they to demonstrate? Are they to illustrate? What are they supposed to know? So what is this instruction designed to cause them to be able to know, to do, to value, to whatever? And I think starting at that place. And I thought I had brought it up here upstairs. I'm upstairs in my office here, but I have a couple of references that I found very useful that talk about how to structure assignments. What kinds of, do you use case studies? What are the best kinds of assignments to give to students if you want them to perform in a certain way based upon either Fink's or Bloom's taxonomy? So now, and in fact, I will share those. And so if you can, I guess we can send information out to all who are on here today who may be interested in that. But I think that's, and it gives some examples from different disciplines too, which I think is very, very helpful. I love examples. Yeah. But I'm really pleased. All of you guys I'm so pleased to be a part of Prairie, all these sharp people. I mean,
there's also another reference that I know we have copies in the center. Angela and Cross do.
Oh, yeah, Angela and Cross, yes.
Classroom assessment techniques. So whenever we are back, if people want to come by and secure a copy, even of that. But John, I wish I had that information when I was going through the Quality Matters course a couple of weeks ago. So anybody that's getting ready to do the training this summer for ITO or the Quality Matters, hope you're taking some notes in terms of what you might need to put in there. Marilyn, you had a question about moving over to Canvas, I think. Let's see. Is the moving to Canvas making a format we had used for setting up exams with randomizing questions? Will it be different? Is that what you're asking? Okay. John, can you answer that one?
Yes, because the setup is different from Moodle, it has a minor difference, but it's still just literally one checkbox. It's just going to be in a different screen.
I did find when I was going through that there was a slide in the training that actually had the terminology for Moodle and then the terminology for Canvas, so that there were things that weren't that much different, but the terminology is a little different. So that was always helpful. Other questions? It is now exactly 10 o'clock, and so we thank the 3 panelists. And if you need emails, I know John has put his email up. Dr. Collins' email is drcollins@pvamu. And James, you are J.R. Faiz?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, J.R. Faiz, VALLES, also at PVAMU. So if you have questions that follow this, thanks. He just put it in the chat. Please make sure that you email or stay in touch. I am sure since all of us are going through the Quality Matters and the online training, there may be some more questions as you go through those trainings for either of these 3 people. So thank you so much. And we will see you at the next session.
Thank you.
Thank you.